Hi, everybody. Number one Marmaduke fan here. A local artist was doing kind of like a Halloween art event, and he was offering to do uh, original art on a blank comic book cover. So I just picked up a Batman Detective Comics issue. Here's his info: Marshall Parish, mparish underscore art at Instagram, and Scub Draws on Facebook. Real cool guy. All right, so that's his cover art. He didn't do any art in the interiors. So what I think I'm going to do is I think I'm going to do like 4 stories at a time, because this is like an absolutely massive book with like 12 stories in it. It's Detective Comics 1027, and I think I'll comment briefly on each story in turn. So first one, we've got Blowback, written by Peter J. Tomasi. Brad Walker did the pencils, and Andrew Hennessy did the inks. So this is kind of neat. So the thing is, Batman is this character with this long history, and so you have a lot of material to work with. You could just tell like a simple little adventure story with him. You could do kind of like a thoughtful, pensive thing on the history of the character. So there's a lot of angles to approach him from. And maybe one thing is you can just sort of pick out one cool thing about Batman, like his detective mind, and sort of like emphasize Batman as a Sherlock Holmes character, or emphasize Batman as a physical, Spartan character. So Blowback kind of emphasizes Batman as escape artist. And after like the introduction, he's just literally already in the machine, the death trap. He's desperately trying to remember any piece of information he can as a way of helping him piece it together. And he kind of has like a flashback to all of these death traps he's been in. And then it kind of transitions to almost kind of like a portfolio art style thing, where it just sort of like highlights each bad guy and then shows a few death traps that he's been in. It's a really simple framing device, but I kind of like it. I like the Batman Rogues Gallery, so it gives you a rundown on all these different rogues and how they think. And then it's a pretty simple solution. His solution is basically he does the classic Tibetan monk hibernation trick to make it appear as though his heart stopped, guessing that that'll trigger it to let him go. And then he goes and confronts the guy who did it. Damn it, I've never heard of this guy. It must be like a more obscure fellow. Balsam. So I guess I kind of missed what his deductive reasoning is, because I don't know who Balsam is or what his thinking is, but it's basically a nice framing device for a Batman story. The master class is by Brian Michael Bendis. The artist was David Marquez. Now, Brian Michael Bendis, like the classic internet thing about him is that he's way too verbose and puts way too many words in, and he likes to try to imitate normal speaking patterns. So as in, people, when they have sort of normal speaking patterns, they'll do some ums and ahs, they'll have disconnected or disjointed thoughts. And I think the problem is that he has a good idea for a little story, like all the Bat family get together to find a crook. Batman shows up last and kind of like tests them to figure out the mystery, and they kind of work together to put bits and pieces of the mystery together. And at the end, they solve the mystery, and Batman congratulates them, right? So like sort of like dad is supportive dad, Batman is supportive dad of the Bat family. I guess the problem is that so much time gets taken up in like the little cutesy back and forth. The mystery is really, really basic. Like they look at the guy, they look in his wallet, they do a Google search, they figure out who he was married to, they solve the mystery, right? I like to see the deductive reasoning process in mystery stories, where there's a like Conan, Detective Conan is a great example of this. There's a critical piece of information. If you were observant enough to catch that critical piece of information, you put that into the logical picture. You use deductive reasoning. It lets you connect the dots to figure out the solution to whatever the problem is, which makes them really, really hard to write. But I feel like if the point was going to be Batman praising them for being good detectives, like that element of it should have been much more of an emphasis than like the little family chit chat aspect of it. The next one was drawn by Chip Zdarsky, which is kind of interesting. Many happy returns. Chip Zdarsky, art and colors, and Matt Fraction is the writer. So one thing, Chip Zdarsky, he isn't the best artist, I think, kind of has like an indie style, but one thing really nice touch he did is he kind of imitated the Batman Year One color palette for this, and it starts in Year One, month 11. And kind of like the nice story theme of this is that once a month, every month, the Joker insanely celebrates Batman's birthday. And his way of celebrating Batman's birthday is to kill someone or nearly kill someone as a birthday present. And so this just becomes like a psychologically traumatizing thing for Batman throughout his entire career. Now, I guess in new continuity, Joker never had like that happy clown, harmless phase where he was throwing pies at people. I guess this is more like classic Joker, where he started out as a murderer very early in his career and has just continued that. Maybe one nitpick I have is this has Batman like fighting crime for 22 years, right? So he's like pushing into his 50s, and he's just been at this nonstop the whole time. Basically, I think it's a really good idea. Like, what's a twisted thing the Joker could do? Use that as a framing device. And spoiler, the catch is that at the very last moment before the year ends and he hasn't given Batman his birthday present, he has no birthday present. The joke is that we're going to keep doing this forever, referencing the movie, The Dark Knight Returns. I don't understand what the continuity is supposed to be, or which... Like, I recognize, there are whole scenes I recognize, like Batman shirtless fighting a gorilla, I know is based on a comic from, I think, the Silver Age, where he was doing all kinds of crazy stuff. But I don't know. I feel like you have to have I'm willing to suspend disbelief and believe that Batman can be kicking ass all these years, but can he really be spending like 25 plus years getting his stuffing knocked out of him and be as young and spry as when he was 20? I don't know about that. Try to balance the fantasy aspect of Batman with a little bit of believability. But I really like just the sad ending where he's just wearing down as Joker keeps doing this to him. Maybe another good trick would have been, instead of month after month, make it once a year. On some random day he celebrates his birthday. So it's still insane, but I don't know, like, it's believable to me that the Joker gets out once a year. It's not believable to me that the Joker gets out once a month. Last, we've got Rookie, written by Greg Rucka, who is kind of an infamous Twitter personality. A lot of people are. He complains about Trump and stuff. And Eduardo Risso on art and colors. I like how Eduardo Risso kind of gives it like an old school, seedy underbelly of Gotham crime vibes. Again, some inspired by Batman Year One. Greg Rucka, I'm going to give this qualified praise because it has a sort of social justice undercurrent to it, but it also has like a redemptive message to it. I guess what's kind of sad about that is if you have a social justice theme, the more social justice-y it is, the less redemptive it's going to be. But also, the more redemptive something is, the less woke and social justice-y it is. So this is clearly Greg Rucka commenting on race relations and the police as, a upper middle class white guy in his 40s or 50s. He's going to have like a woke statement for all the 20-somethings on Twitter. So a young black woman is joining the Gotham Police Academy, and there's a really good framing device of her narrating, what it takes, all the hoops she's got to go through. This is a bad 2-page spread because you were supposed to read it down this way and then come up and read down this way. It doesn't work. You just read across that way, read across that way, read across that way. Then you realize you read it wrong and you got to go back. We need white gutters and a solid white gutter down the middle so that you say, oh, okay, it stops here. I'll go this way. It's not a 2-page spread. But what you were supposed to do was read this, go all the way down, and then come up here and contrast and see, oh, she's running. Oh, they're tripping or they're mean. Oh, they're shooting. Oh, they're cheating during the test. She's taking your test. Oh, she's looking at someone else. So she's getting corrupted by the police department because it's Gotham. And because Gotham is a dark city, it's like a great place to sort of tell police dramas about sort of the dark side of human reality, corrupt cops, dirty cops, asking for favors, that kind of stuff. So this fits with the world of what Gotham is. But what I think Greg Rucka is doing is he's trying to tell the woke story where the black girl is going into the white police racist, sexist system and is gradually getting worn down by it and gradually having her morals corrupted by it. And the recurring line is, hey, rookie, it's Gotham. It's what you got to do. Everybody's on the take. in Gotham. And so rookie, rookie, rookie becomes kind of like the recurring line to make fun of her for not wanting to do what's wrong and abuse her power, right? And so the ultimate twist comes at the end where she won't go. They're going to plant some evidence on a guy. There's also this sort of subtle thing where it's like, oh, the white cop is harassing the black Ute, and the black cop's trying to stop him from harassing the right. This is clearly like Greg Rucka trying to respond to 21st century race relations. But she doesn't want to be corrupted. She rats them out. They're about to shoot her, and Batman stops them. And then there's a really sweet thing at the end where rookie has been used as a pejorative. It means foolish. It means naive. And then Gordon uses it another way. He tells her, like, congratulations, we want you for major crimes unit. We've had our eyes on you, rookie. And so when Gordon says it, it means something different. It means you're naive. Maybe you're young and you've got a lot to learn, but you're uncorrupted. So Gordon changes the meaning of the word rookie for her and turns it into something positive. And what's sweet and redemptive about that is the end of the did I rip the page? Maybe I did. Anyway, the end of the sort of social justice institutional corruption story is she finds hope and redemption at the end, where she did what was right and she has an opportunity to serve and protect the people of Gotham, because guys like Gordon are looking for good cops like her. Now, again, Greg Rucka, the woke, has a strong, masculine, heroic old white guy giving guidance to a young black woman, recognizing her virtue, and supporting her in her career. That's the redemptive part of the story. The sort of subtextual, oh man, don't the cops suck? Doesn't institutional policing suck? I think these are two themes at war with one another, and I basically appreciate that there is a hopeful and virtuous message at the end of it. So really, it actually ends up kind of being like not a social justice story at all. So good for you, Greg. I hope they don't cancel you for this one. That's it. All right. There's a whole bunch more stories in it. It's absolutely massive, so I'll keep reading them. I'm a Marmaduke fan. I love you guys. Catch you later.